Scratch, who is 905 elo at this point. So it should be a very, very interesting matchup, very close and tightly contested. We are still in Bronze League. We are now in Group D. Oh, Chess in Black and White, thank you for joining. And yeah, you're just in time. We did just finish a set, but we are heading into a second one, as mentioned. So if you have missed it, it was Jurgen or Dozerto beating Mordbragon 2-1 in their set. And now we're gonna be heading into Scratch versus Resbou. Now what I want to check here is if Dennis, are you around perhaps? You wanna hop in to co-cast this one? I know you mentioned it before. Oh, hello Neva as well. Nice to see you. Let's just see if Dennis wants to be a part of this co-cast. So Dennis, as I mentioned before, a good friend of Scratch, and he is also somebody that has a channel together with him on YouTube where they cover AoE leagues and players and do. I'll give you a call right now on Discord, and I'll add the sound so that they can hear that people can hear you as well. Or you can listen to Smart Guy's suggestion, I guess. Oh, oh, hello, Dennis. Oh, wait, let me just set it up so that the people can hear you. And just 1 second. Okay, that should be it. Do say something.
Hello, stream.
Okay, yeah, there we are. There we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, time to see if the community games training has paid off. Okay, perfect. So Chess and Black and White here already with his favorite, obviously, and also everybody give a welcome aboard to Dennis. He was with us here in the chat right now, and he's, as I said, joining to co-cast this set with us. Did you see the set or the score by any chance, Dennis? Like, I know you might have spoiled yourself.
Yeah, I kind of did.
No, I know because I was assuming so. I'm guessing it was streamed to you by Scratch or simply retold.
It was just I think he gave me the link and I kind of just saw it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, do try to act as if you don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the plan.
Well, let's start the map draft right away, though. So Pacific Islands banned out by Scratch, and Bogland banned out by Resbou. I can't fault him for that, really. We'll split
Resbou
it up
doesn't
a
want to
bit,
play maybe Nomad maps or something like that.
and then Socotra for Scratch. Very very nice. I'm impressed. I'm happy to see it. Mediterranean and Crater Lake. So we are gonna have two water maps after all, still. Even though Crash tried to remove one of them, or as much as he could, basically from the pool. So the first game will be played on Crater Lake, but let us see what the civilization drafts have looked like. So again, we're just gonna ever so slightly speed it up. Bohemians banned by Scratch. Yep. No, Boglands really makes it hard to build stuff. Then Hindustanis and humans banned by Resbou, and Scratch wrapping off the bans with the Magyar ban. I'm I'm like I was so happy when he picked Socotra and now he banned the Magyars. But okay. And then we have Koreans picked by Scratch and Malay and Armenians in response by Resbou, which leaves the Incas to be picked by Scratch. Very interesting. And now we will go into the random picks selected to them by the draft themselves. Oh, this is very interesting. Okay. Here, and like Resbou has gotten Byzantines, Vikings, and Dravidians, so he gets three very strong naval civs, including having two strong naval civs. So he has five strong naval civs in his arsenal, with the Byzantines especially being useful on other maps as well, or being very good on other maps as well. Scratch getting Tatars, Bulgarians, and Gurjaras. So not having a straight up water sieve available could be very, very hard for them in this set. And what more is, to be fair, he did get a sieve rotation that I prefer more in terms of I like playing with the Tatars, the Bulgarians, even the Gujaras. But let's see how that will play out in total. Kind of weird. I usually knowing or how much I know Scratch, I would expected one of his picks to be Byzantines, and instead it's Resbou that gets them on the random rotation. Very, very interesting. And as I said, this is going to be Group D of the Bronze League, and I'll send you over to the Be Right Back screen just so I can load in Game 1, which, as we said, will be played out on Crater Lake once again, similar to the previous set that we had, first game being on Crater Lake. And just sending you over to this screen so you do not get yourself spoiled as to what the sieves are on the map. And just so I have a small amount of time to prepare the casting information for you all. So as we said, both players are from the great United States of America. And Resbou's elo right now sitting at 866, while Scratch is 905 elo right now in total. That being said, let's head back right into the game, where Scratch is playing as the Tatars and Resbou is playing as the Vikings. We are on Crater Lake, and right away I have to point out we do have a very fair generation once again in terms of the starting island in the middle. So I'm not gonna waste a lot of time talking about it, but the island generation is fine. So do give us a bit of information. Of course, Resbou playing as the Vikings seemed like a very, very strong choice. I think he's happy he got them on that random rotation, and thinking that's good, definitely good enough for him to be taking right away here.
Yeah, I was really surprised by the Vikings being played by Resbou, because I just expected Scratch to pick Vikings in the draft, and then I saw this matchup, and I was like, and it's also, isn't it? How do you favor the Civ matchup for this map?
So definitely advantage over for the Vikings simply because of how
Yeah.
important the water will be, and at some point they will simply go into their long ships, which makes it pretty hard for any other civ to fight back, let alone the Tatars, who aren't known for having any water or like navy bonuses. But what is interesting, and what I wanted to say to Resbou actually, because you asked it, it does happen at times on Crater Lake that these generations will not be like completely like this. There are times where the island will literally like spawn on this side and be right next to Scratch and very far away from Resbou, or from you in this case. But the thing is, like, it's Crater Lake can be Crater Lake can be very, very weird with the generation and not the most even at times. Yeah. Also, I see some of you are like kind of watching on both sides. That's very interesting. Do give me somebody that please tell me what's the score there, because I'm kind of, I don't think I'll have the time to be rewatching it all later. We did do the math, to be honest, and I don't know if I told you, Scratch, as well. We did do the math. We are trying to have all of the sets casted out, but we did the math, Neo, Likes, and I, and there's a total of like 164 sets in the group stages to be played out in the tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of work casting it, but it's gonna be a pipe dream of trying to watch it all for any of us.
Yeah, and it's also all play all three, so each set is going to
Yeah,
have 3 games, right? So that's also going to take more time and effort.
I will be honest, I have had streams where I've tried to cast 3 or 4 sets, and often when I promise I'll do like 3 sets, what would happen is by the last best of 3, I would be like, oh god, I hope somebody wins 2-0 and it's fast. Like this time around, I will be doing 3 sets, and it's a play all three, so you know it's 9 games,
Yeah,
and I
that's
prepared
true.
myself better for it.
How's the scouting looking like? Is scouting important on this map, Harrison?
So, I mean, it can be, but it's like it can't really surprise you. You always know what it's going to look like in terms of getting over here. The only important thing is that if you can keep knowledge of whether your opponent has walled over on the side. You see, in this
Ah,
case, and on this generation, for example, if I was either player, I would see the opponent is not walling on the side. For example, for Scratch, I would try to sneak in with here with a Willy and get some stable down or something. So once the fighting starts on the water, the true advantage you could get as like Scratch here would to try be to sorry would be to try and send some like light cab to raid while your opponent is distracted. What is more
yeah, that's
difficult,
a
playing a best of
yeah.
seven or casting it? Well, depends how fun it is. If it's like an uninteresting and one-sided best of seven, I think it's easier for both players to play it. One guy knows he's losing, one guy knows he's winning. They just do their games. They're still having fun for the most part. If you're casting it, it's just like, come on, fight back.
So is there going to be a best of seven for this tournament sometime during the knockouts?
So we're gonna be doing best of five for the knockouts. So best of
Yeah,
seven would lead us to a position of, well, there's
it's
gonna be
very, very long sets.
very long sets and very like big drafts in terms for both the maps and the
Yeah,
civs, and it might even put people off in terms of you know this yourself, and you played in this tournament and in the others, that
yeah,
you kind of get the realization of how many civs you need to have ready for certain situations and maps and knowledge. And a lot of us, myself included, have found ourselves in situations in tournaments where you realize like, man, I don't have that many civs prepared.
yeah,
Like
true.
in the first edition of the Heroes Colosseum, in our bracket, I have reached the finals. Then I remember it was a best of five set in the finals, and we have two bans, and then you're supposed to have like 5 picks. Like after the two bans, the guy banned two saves from me and took away one from me. I was literally like, I have maybe one more save remaining. So
Yeah, yeah,
it can get pretty rough in that regard.
true. Would the random civ picks remain during the knockouts?
So yes, for the most part, yes. So
Okay,
the
yeah.
idea is that we want this kind of uh,
Everyone gets to play in a civ that they're not comfortable with and
yeah,
kind of
or
try
like
to
yeah,
adapt.
and
Yeah,
trying something different. And it's kind of it's a story about adaptability in that regard.
yeah.
And what we are seeing here is both players up to feudal at the exact same time. But a significant advantage for Resbou is because Resbou is accepting the
Fishing ships.
importance of water on this map. Yeah, something we're not seeing right now from Scratch. Now Resbou also walling back off at home. I love walling offs, but in this specific map, as I mentioned, all Resbou needed to do was walk over here with a villager, wall off this, and walk over here with a villager and wall off this. And you've wasted minimum time, minimum resources. Add maybe a stone wall so it's safer, and there's no way your opponent is getting here anytime soon. Oh, okay. Want to close it so I can defend the walls. Oh, but yeah, but for example, like if you were to go here and drop stone walls, when you drop like 2 layers of stone walls here, like it's gonna take your opponent so long to get through that you would have enough time to literally build a full wall like this by the time he's there.
Yeah.
Now we have Scratch now on water as well, so that's nice to see. Now I do realize Scratch is probably in a similar issue that I used to be as well. It's like not liking water maps also means like you're not familiar with timings or how important the water may be on some maps or how to respond to it. While on the other side, Resbou's already on 2 docks, so Resbou's doing everything proper in that regard. Early going with the fishing ships, getting that eco up, having more on wood to accord for that. Going on 2 docks straight up once in feudal, so he can drop. I would assume be dropping some fire galleys pretty soon as well. Now, Dennis, do you know? Is there any experience for Scratch in playing Tatars, does he like the Civ? Did he play it before? Or...
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Um, so yeah, I don't think he planned to go Tatars, or he's just not familiar with Tatars.
Hmm.
And yeah, it does look like Resbo is also going for Castle Age.
Yep.
So
Yep, already clicked up to Castle Age. Scratch, in the meantime, actually investing quite a bit into the scouts that he wanted to go with. Will steal away these goats here. Does stop all his scouts in place. Also, for Resbu, usually just keep. I thought that was an interesting pick for sure. Yeah, it's not something you'd expect on Crater Lake, but to be fair, okay, so Resbu does notice this. So always when you're like this, there's like basically one tile that seems like it's in the water that you can get to. But the thing is, I don't think like even the random picks, because Scratch wasn't really prepared for the idea of going with water sieves, so he didn't choose 2 water sieves out of his own, and he was unlucky to not get any on the random drafts either. So it's gonna be kind of hard for him, considering that we're gonna have 2 water maps in this set.
yeah, and it's also Vikings with longboats. It's going to
Yeah,
be rangeable, right? More
yeah.
the sides are going to be, yeah.
And also, what Scratch should have been doing here is this is what players do often, and what I do myself is because of the longboats, Vikings do not get fire ships. So usually people would
Oh
just
yeah,
wait for Castle Age to get to the longboats and not build army, naval army before that.
yeah, yeah.
So
So you
perhaps what
pressure them
Scratch should have been
early.
doing, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, trying to get him off
yeah.
water and trying to get him in a bad spot by the time he reaches castle, because now we're in a castle, and as we say it instantly, Resbu's building longboats. So on the other hand, I do have to commend as well that Scratch, in the midst of all this, is now even in the eco lead so far. So it does have a 4 villager advantage, does have a good eco running back home. He will be able to click up very soon himself. Was not considering it, was investing in the scouts at first, so was not thinking of going forward as much. But he will be able to do so very, very soon. So that's very good for him as well. Resbu doing very well as well, considering that it appears like he has a plan for the map and he's doing well in that regard. Bad with idling the TC. I mean, you guys have about 3-4 minutes of idle TC time. I'm not saying that's good, but I'm also not saying I'm doing any better. And I reached 1k with it, so it's okay. Don't get me wrong; it's incredibly important, the idle TC time. I just do feel like people sometimes overstress
Overestimate
it.
its value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
overstress it about how important it is.
At least in the Bronze League, it's more about decisions and what you
Yeah, and
decide to go for. Yeah.
yeah, and knowing the map and what your game plan is and similar. So yeah.
True.
So the numbers are not looking bad here for Scratch, but he's going into longboats, so this is not a fight he's enjoying. And the number of longboats is increasing because his opponent is on 3 docks compared to the 1 dock. So honestly, right
Ooh,
now,
Resbo with the move with the ship. He was dancing with one ship in front to bait arrows.
yep, very very nice to see, and he did
Yeah.
save it with just a 2 HP, but does save it.
Oh yeah.
Uh, one like there's a big lead right now for Resbu in terms of the state and control in the game, but it all boils down pretty much to Scratch not being that familiar or that used to water maps. And I think if he's to get some practice on water maps, or if he's to able to, let's say, force his way into a less water oriented draft, I think he could do very well. But we'll see how this game goes, we'll see how the next game goes, and we'll see how Sokotra goes as well. So, I don't know. You do, Dennis, so wisely you are not speaking.
Yeah, I'm trying to be very careful about what I say now because
No, very, very
yeah.
nicely done. There we go. So this is kind of also unlucky for Scratch because he lost the water. Like, the longboats can be annoying here, even to the the farmers under the TC here. But both players are now in. Oh, I love seeing this. It's demolition rafts. It's demolition rafts. Come on, do something. Explode. Explode! Okay, we get one. Okay, did we get the 1 HP one? Yes, we did. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. We got the 1 HP one, but that's fine. And the fishing eco will now be removed here for Scratch completely. And he's back to 35 wills, and that's only the will that he has. No longer any fishing eco. His opponent already on 2 TCs. Scratch finally able to break a hole here, but by the time he was able to take it down, his opponent was able to get some spears out in the field. So all Scratch is gonna do now is use one of these remaining ones to get some scouting done. Now you see the problem here for, and this is what I was talking about. So for example, for Resbou, the situation is looking great for him. But you see obviously that Scratch wants to be focusing on fighting on land and not on water. If Scratch was to be on stone right now, he could literally take this path here, reach here, and like drop a castle outside of the range or like vision range for Resbou here, and still make it a land fight and make it messy for Resbou. We are having a war galley out on the field right now for Scratch, but that's not gonna work the greatest. If he is trying to get a mass of ships, this is the better solution. Yeah, Gary, send them in for the start and try to get them out later. Okay, so you let them in when you had the bikes ready. Okay, that works fine as well. But that overall, like for example, like he could still make the fight messy by like dropping a castle here or some stables or whatever. That works. Especially on the other side here, where there's a lot of open space actually, and it's not often that you get this much open space on Greater Lake. Okay, so these guys will be forced out now. We'll maybe be able to take one of the longboats with them, but look how fast the longboats are taking out these war galleys. Really, really very strong naval unit. Need some upgrades on those longboats. So yeah, but we do have Bodkin and already. We're not having any defensive upgrades on them, but I think he's not too concerned about that. I think he feels like he's definitely winning out on the water. There's a 17 eco lead as well for Resbou, so it's looking pretty good for him. I think he just knows the map and had a very good plan for it, and he's playing it out very well. He went on 2 TCs, he got control of water, he went fast castle to get the longboats, he got the longboats, he's pressuring his opponent, destroying his infrastructure that's rangeable by them, making sure his opponent is not on water anymore, missing this dock for now, but yeah, you probably think of that later. Now he wants to secure the gold in the middle, very nicely done. Kinda funny to be taking the scout over here, but yeah, that works as well. I want the longbow to shoot the wolves. Okay, yeah, we're doing it here, very nice. Okay, yeah, well done, GG, called by Scratch. Very nice to see them being friendly and respectful. So that's 1-0 for Resbou. As I said, very nicely played out game 1 for him, which also means we'll be going to Socotra for game 2. I'm happy with this. I was hoping like I'm gonna be doing 3 casts. It's gonna be 9 games. Somebody's gonna pick Socotra, and Scratch didn't disappoint me. Scratch didn't disappoint me, so let's go over here. Mark Crater Lake is played. It's a win for the Vikings. It's a loss for the Tatars. And now we are going on Socotra. And again, I don't know what Scratch has in mind for it, but the obvious choice for him would be to go Bulgarians. Bulgarians are one of the best civs possible on Socotra. It's definitely their map. And take it from me, I'm like, Socotra is my #1 map. I gained 150 elo last time that Socotra was in the ranked pool, and I play it in tournaments as my home map when possible. And I will really stop saying this on casts because I'm also playing in this tournament. So at any point I will stop saying it on cast for sure. On the other side, maybe Armenians could go for Socotra. I've seen people go on Armenians Socotra simply because of the ability to get the longswordmen out very soon. So let's see what goes on there. And yep, let's send you over to a different screen while we load in so you are not spoiled to the civs as always. And let's see. We are loading Socotra in, And we have Incas versus Malay. Okay. Incas versus Malay on Socotra. Can't say I expected this. Again, maybe Scratch wants the comfort of being on a civ he chose, and he knows better than possibly the Bulgarians. Okay, two favorite civs, really. That's interesting choice, honestly. I have played the Malay recently. I do like them as well. Topic on this
Mm,
map followed by Malay. Okay, very
I
interesting to
think
see.
Malay should be good in counteracting the Eagles, right? With the free armor upgrades.
Okay, yeah, that is very true
Yeah,
as well. That
yeah,
could be very important here. But I'm just surprised because honestly, if you go like of all the time I've played Bulgarians on Socotra, you get the dirt cheap black myth upgrades, you get your upgrades
yeah.
for free, your militia line upgrades for free as soon as you end up in the next stage. So it's really snowbally in that regard for when you're like playing Bulgarians. So maybe I expected to see Scratch try and do that since he did get them on the random rotation. But then again, as I said, it's a lot to come to familiarity and the comfort that you have, and perhaps he feels more comfortable on Bulgarians. Malay have a hard time countering archers, slingers, skirts. Okay, yeah, skirms. I knew you meant skirms, but like skirts sounded kind of funny. I might keep it just as that. But to be fair, Malay are also able to go pretty strong archers of their own as well. So we'll see if that was something Resbou had in mind this time around. Ooh, Scratch getting the goats here. Does Resbou see this? No, I don't think he does. I don't think the Resbou notices this in time. Or perhaps he's sending the scout back. Yeah, he's sending the scout to get the sheep. Or no, he's just scouting past. Ooh, I don't think we've noticed this in time for Resbou here. Okay, that's a big plus here for Scratch. That's 400 free food that he's taking back, and probably not what the goal or idea was. Resbou at least was able to get his elephant, so that one won't be lame, but he didn't lame his opponent's elephant either. Yeah, hurt me bad. I can assume, especially because you kind of have a plan usually on what you want to do, and now you're having to go with everybody on Fruit Bush. Now, Resbou, what you could have done here, or what you should have done here, was either push in these ostriches or mill them instead, because you take the food from them faster than you take the forage bushes or the fruit bushes. I think the fruit bushes are one of the slowest sources of or incomes of food available. Plan went out right out the window at that point. Yep, I do believe that. So at this point, you kind of know that you're ready, that you're playing catch up to your opponent. Yep. Yeah, it's easy to forget. It's easy to lose track of things and keep them lose sight of them, so to say, as well. But we will see. Okay, Scratch laughing a bit. He is happy with the heist, and of course he is allowed to be. I would be too. And this is the second time in 2 days that you're able to see this on casts. I have had like 3 goats stolen from me by Bujazi, the son of Resbou, last night on this same map. So it definitely happens, people. Now Resbou starting off with the wall of right away. Yep, that house wasn't supposed to be there. Okay. There we go. So interestingly enough, we're not seeing that much of a eco lead in terms of resources collected so far for Scratch. I was kind of hoping he will be able to take advantage of this. And also,
Forward mill
okay,
from
forward mill from
Resbou.
Resbou. I do like this. Like, you took some food away from me, I'll take some food away from you. I need my food back. I do like this because I don't think Scratch is looking this direction, so he won't like. He'll be able to take some food before Scratch even realizes this, because Scratch needs time to take the goat that he's stolen away. Okay, but again, Scratch will be close to clicking up very soon as well. And let's see, maybe if he... I'm not sure what's the count on these. Okay, so they just were dropped off some food, so he can't force drop them yet. So instead he just queues up more billies. Perhaps cancel one more. Okay, cancels both. Okay, 499, 503, there we go, he clicks up the feudal. And now we have a outpost here for Resbou, so he has a heads up when his fruit bush stealing economy gets hit. Okay, yeah, this is what you love to see. This is the beauty of Socotra. It's a wild map. Everybody gets some kind of crazy idea on Socotra. Everybody like either walling in the bushes, either doing some type of flaming, doing some type of walling of resources, or straight up I take your berries and wall them. And we've seen this done videos on this subject, not just on Socotra but on other maps as well. And Resbou was able to click up as well. And he won't be a lot behind because he is the Malay, so that's a very cool bonus to have, where he's able to play catch up without clicking up at the same time. Very, very nicely done. At this point, Resbou almost, you're almost able to like connect it through here and take half the map for yourself, which would be hilarious to see. It's like a yin yang moment at this point. So this is where Jazzy gets his bowling from. Well, of course, I'd assume. And there we go, Scratch is in feudal. And Resbou is in feudal as well. Are we gonna see eagles in queue? Eagles, 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 eagles. We are not seeing eagles as of yet. And we are not seeing men-at-arms as of yet, or militiamen as of yet. Are we gonna lose the Eagle Scout here? Yes, we are. Kind of unfortunate here for Scratch, but does lose the eagle in the end. And I'm kind of surprised that, like, okay, yeah, so Scratch not looking over to the other side as of yet, dropping these archery ranges, and will now be able to notice that, hey, there's a palisade wall here. Why is this happening? He went over to this side, and he's just taking the hunt with the mill. Interesting positioning for the mill, actually. Scratch wanting to use the mill as part of the wall off, and just take the hunt from there. And that's why he never noticed that the fruit bushes are being taken on this side by Resbou. So now when he drops this archery range, he's gonna get more information about more palisade walls being built here. So he might get a bit worried, or might get a bit annoyed by, hey, what are you doing in my land here? But we will see how this goes. And there we have some Eagle Scouts in queue. We have some archers in queue for Scratch. So Scratch wants to be heading on the aggressive very, very fast here. Now that Scratch has went over with the archer, he'll be fully aware of what's going on this side. We'll pull back. Okay, we'll lose the archer actually to the tower. Very, very interesting. Nice garrison of the tower for Resbou to get in the damage required. Scratch can walk around. I think he needs to realize that he needs to go around here. Unfortunately, taking some free damage on this Eagle Scout here with not a lot of reasoning to it. We'll be moving it away now. And this one ostrich has been left alive, actually. Are we trying to push it in? No. No, we are not. Kind of a weird position for Scratch to be in. Scratch has 0 on food right now. There's still 9 on food for Resbou, and that's 5 being the ones stealing the forage bushes, and we are having some more farms, 6 farms now dropped as well. So that's a decent food eco, but then again, 0 on gold for Resbou. On the other hand, only 1 on gold for Scratch, but he does have the mining camp out and probably will add more to it as well. And he's now switching to a farming economy Scratch here. What he could have done in this situation, and Scratch, if you do end up watching this, or maybe Dennis tells you, I would propose like dropping a tower right here, just so for the while you will be denying this fruit bush here from your opponent. So you might not be able to retake it for yourself right away, but you should be able to deny it from your opponent as well, to preserve it for later, or simply just get him out of the way from there. But now here's the forward army going from Scratch, but they will run into some of these scouts prepared from Resbou. Now this is a fight that, if microed correctly, is pretty good for Scratch here. Yep, exactly, but this archer is gonna lose his life for it, but one of the scouts goes down as well. So a 1-for-1 trade, overall maybe a bit more favorable for Resbou, considering it's golden wood, or it's a gold unit for just a food unit. But overall nothing to write home about. If I was like, yeah, of course you want to clear this army away if possible, but they do have the movement advantage and the movement speed over you. If possible, I would just try to go this way and still enter the base, because you can ignore this army. You beat it, so you're the one that goes forward. But in the end, it's still some more fighting here, and it's gonna be one of the eagles going down actually. But we are having more eagles in queue, and more of them are on the field now as well. So that's 5 eagles, 6 archers on queue for Scratch, only opposed by some scout cav on the field, which is not a bad position at all for the Inca player here. Yeah, should have put your tower in front of the base. Like, yeah, you could have done that like somewhere over here, and you could even deny some farms that way. Like, I think you would deny at least 2 farms if the tower was like right here. So for both of you, basically works the same way. Okay, so we're hitting different palisade walls for both of them, but still, it won't take that long for these Eagle Scouts to get these walls down. So Resbou reacting, creating kind of a funnel and closing off so that these can't just run in. That's a good decision. Now I do hope he remembers to drop the palisade wall first before the second house, because that way it gives less time for them to walk in. Okay, it does. Perfect. And there we go. I do like to see this from Resbou. That's very nice defending in that regard. Scratch is on his way in. The scouts will try to jump onto the archers, but it's not being allowed. Then there's more scouts coming over from the other side, still deciding to just pull away. Not the best situation to be in. Okay, one of the archers does die out to town center fire. Okay, so the scouts are still finding some nice damage onto these archers in general, but there's still more army, or almost nearly 3 times the army numbers on the side of Scratch here. Okay, this part gets cleared away, and Scratch really trying to pile on the pressure here, really increasing the army numbers. Meanwhile, Resbou has a 3 eco lead and is investing still into the light cav, but it's not worked out the greatest for him so far. Did manage to get some good kills and some good movements, but overall the numbers are increasing in terms of army for Scratch, and he does have the stronger army out in the field. We're getting the eco upgrades now for Scratch as well. Oh, hey you likes, how are we doing? I haven't changed the stream title. Oh yeah, so we are still on Dozer and more Bragon, exactly. Yeah. I will do it after this game. Thank you for reminding me of that. I'll do it after this game, and then we'll do it one last time when we are into the 3rd set as well. I need to get myself into having that be a habit, or actually let's do it like this. You can see it still here, and I'll be able to change it from here. Okay. Okay, there we go. It has been updated successfully, and we are right back in it. Now this is kind of a strange alleyway of entry that Scratch is taking here, but it's still working out. And the Malay player will be in castle in about 50 seconds, but Scratch is also on his way to castle, so he won't be far behind. And he is housed back at home, so he's dropping 4 houses in a square back at home, so we'll be solving that issue for a while there. There's actually already a hole here, because one of the Eagle Warriors is already in, but it's a pure Scratch wants to complete destroying this barracks before he does decide to run in with the rest of the army. Perhaps could have decided to try and go to the side and find a better place to go in. Does do so now, but also wanted to destroy some infrastructure. So Scratch is keeping on the pressure, doing some damage. Resbou reacting well, re-rolling at home, creating a final points as well, and was able to click up and go to castle first himself. But then again, these are palisade walls, and the more army, the less they last. And now there's a hole there. There's a hole there as well. It's really hard to see on these spaces that are on a hill. It's always hard to realize when there's a hole and when there is not. This table will get cancelled to get the resources back. That's nicely done. Some eagles might die out here while they're hitting this farm. Scratch needs to notice this as soon as possible. Okay, does now. And in a few seconds we are both going to be in Castle Age. Scratch now also in Castle Age. There we go. Let's see what are the first upgrades or what are the first decisions made from both of them actually in Castle Age. Because right now it appears that we're only going with the standard skirm that we could have had in Feudal Age for Resbou. But we are gonna go for crossbowmen for Scratch. That's nicely done. Does have the heal here so he can take this fight, but might want to hold on having the fight and preserve his troops until at least until they are crossbows, because we have fletching on them as well. There's a decent enough number. There's 13 of them. Actually 6 here, but more will be on the way over there. This villager will die to this eagle warrior here. Or eagle scout, sorry, they're not eagle warriors yet. Yeah. I'm on fire, yep. Elephant's time. Might be actually. Like, again, I'm not a fan of Malay elephants. Nobody, I think, is. We know they're not strong. But considering the situation and what your opponent is going for, they might find some use here. Either way, you do want to have some sort of Castle Age unit on the field. Right
Yeah,
now,
Mangonel, Manatom should be good here for Resbou, right? I mean, I understand that the eco is probably not there for the Man-at-Arms, but...
well, considering that Scratch is going full into crossbowmen and not eagles, like Man-at-Arms wouldn't work, but Mangonel would.
Yeah, Mangonel. And Man-at-Arms just for eagles, but yeah, like you mentioned.
We kind of see like Scratch has stopped production on the eagles and is not upgrading them either as well. So I think that's what Resbou is doing as well, but like I would hold off on going into Man-at-Arms until I notice that there might be something going on in terms of more eagles, eagle upgrades and infantry upgrades and similar. But definitely the 2 Mangonels in queue will be very useful, and it's always interesting to see. I always love seeing Mangonels because we can have, and he has like no food because a lot of the time these villagers were idle here inside of the DC. But I love Mangonels because of the amount of damage they can do, and we can see players try to go back and forth to see who can dodge, who can hit. Ooh, does Scratch notice? Does Scratch notice? Okay, he notices. Ooh, nice job by Scratch there. Very nice job by Scratch there. Dodges the fire at the crossbows and takes out the Mangonel with his own. And as we say it, as if it was on a runway track, there comes the second Mangonel as well. But there's a second Mangonel for Scratch as well, who keeps piling on the pressure here in this game. Let's see if this Mangonel notices it again. Let's see if Scratch...
And Scratch has the elevation as well, right? So
yeah, exactly. So it might be possible that he won't lose the Mangonel if he gets hit first once as well. Okay, so he did get hit, but he was on the hill. But does lose the Mangonel, Resbou here, but he was from the bottom. And Resbou actually going over in the corner, dropping another town center, trying to create himself a space of safe eco that he can maybe drop some farms in. But what we might be seeing happen very soon here from Scratch is, I would assume, is that we might be hitting this this DC with the 3 Mangonels that we have. Now we have the elite skirms and a few archers going over to fight this. The crossbows will just climb up on a hill. That's completely logical. One of the Mangonels being pulled back to be repaired. Nice thinking by Scratch. And we're adding more Mangonels as well, so it's not gonna take that long for this town center to go down if it starts being hit very soon. Like, we're creating more space and more openings here as well. And there's a 10 eco lead as well for Scratch, even though he's 1 TC all-inning this. And I'll be honest, I think that's the way to go on Socotra. Yeah, makes a huge difference. Yep, exactly. It's about 25% difference in terms of damage taken and damage given when you are up on the hill. Up on the hill, as the good old Fun-Loving Criminals song, Fun-Loving Criminals song says. Ooh, again, there's some slight elevation here that saved these mangoes from scratch. That would have been two lost mangoes. Instead, it's two saved mangoes that will now be repaired by this villager. Or at least for a bit. He is kind of short on gold. And he needs both gold and wood to be repairing the mangoes because that's the resources they use. There's another mango incoming as well from Resbou. Let's see if Scratch can take it away in time. Yep, he can. And there's now a knight on the field as well, but there's enough crossbows to take care of that. One of the crossbows kind of wandering in a bit, maybe too far. All the mangonels will now be back together to start hitting the DC. So it's getting kind of dangerous here for Resbou. He's running out of space. He's getting contained further and further inside. Now this is a dangerous spot to take your troops, and this is why. Like, you're taking them directly under mango fire. And this is what happens. And that's 4 mangonels still hitting this town center. That's not long for this world at this point. Okay, does have to be ungarrisoned and will go down very soon. Now, Resbou, what you could have considered is if you wanted to try and apply damage or try to reboom somewhere, you have this side completely open because like there's no resources on it, but get it a town center here, get some farms out, or like some woodcutters and some farms out. That would have saved you a bit here as well. A rare Malay knight. Yep, it's not something you see every day. We will have to agree with that. And we're not gonna see many more of them. There are a few in queue, but the stable's gonna go down before that. So that goes down. The villagers are dying out. There's now a 17 or 18 equal lead for Scratch. We're still producing back at home as well. Has 5 mangoes out on the field. And the crossbow mango push is working out great for Scratch here. And this is a very good game from him. So he bounces right back with a clean game here as well, I would say. Of course, let's not call it too soon. Let's give Resbou the option to get back into it. Stabilize, but it's tough after the siege is out. Yeah, like more and more siege really does make it harder and harder here for Resbou. Now, as I said, I think even like I would even been fine with the elephants. It's just that we needed a castle age unit once we were in castle. Because this way we just continue doing the same thing we were doing in feudal. It's just that nominally we were in castle.
Yeah, and Resbo, if you actually did go for your own walls, then sorry, deleted walls and then you make them work, that's your only working gold villagers, so that would
no, but like if you drop, like, look at this, like stables right now. If he dropped these stables, created knights and just destroyed parts of his own wall, he could run straight into his opponent's eco. But at this point, like, there's already 70 villagers, so nearly a 30 villager advantage for Scratch. And then Scratch is like heavy on stone, so Scratch is not even gonna be castle dropping very soon. So it's a bit too late of an idea, I would say, for Resbou. And Scratch having like a good idea here to, I would assume this is him looking for Resbou. Okay, we're gonna see knights from here. We'll see. Blacksmith being destroyed pretty soon here as well. This tower won't be long for the world if Scratch was to just approach ever so slightly. We are seeing a light scout cav in queue here, but we are housed here for Resbou, considering that most of our infrastructure back at home is being destroyed, of course. And we're gonna see a castle drop from Scratch pretty soon, but the Resbou actually calls the GG, realizing this is not the best situation to be in. And we're gonna have a tie here. It's gonna be a 1-1 before we head into the third game. And very nicely played out by Scratch this game. Scratch definitely more comfortable with the land-oriented maps, which is again not great for him due to the fact that he now has to play on Resbou's home map, which will again 25 subs and no CA Pro. Yeah. I need to get CA Pro. Like, Polly, you were here when I was explaining it. You're just being an asshole now. But okay, we'll be getting Capture Age Pro for the next stream. Like, we were supposed to have it for this stream as well, but yeah. I might be, yeah. But that was a win for the Incas, and that was a loss for the Malay. That was also Socotra played out, which means we are on a lovely tourist spot, the Mediterranean. And in the remaining civs department, we have Bulgarians, Kajarson, and Koreans remaining for Scratch, and Armenians, Byzantines, and Dravidians remaining for Resbou. Now, the fun part here is, I believe, Scratch will go for the Koreans because he's more comfortable with them. It's the civ he picked, so he knows them better. But Resbou can literally once again go any of the civs he has, because we're back on a water map, and the man picked 2 civs that are strong on water and randomly got 3 civs that are strong on water, and we ended up with 2 water maps as well. So very nicely done in the drafts, I would say, for Resbou as well. And let's see what he decides to go for, and what does he take here. Now, do just give me a second. I need to get up ever so quickly, and by the time I'm back, we will be loading into the game as well. But again, I'll need a total of like 17 seconds. Okay. Okay, I am back. As promised, did not take long. And we are into the third and final game of this set. Resbou against Scratch, an old US matchup on the Mediterranean for all the marbles. Resbou playing as the Armenians, one of the civs that he did pick, so in the end does prefer to go with them. Scratch playing as the Koreans, not a great naval civ, but it is one of the ones that he had remaining, that he, like the only one that he had that he has personally picked. So again, going with that comfort. Scratch
Yeah,
throwing the
Koreans
good
is
luck,
not
have fun.
too bad, right?
Yeah, they do get like they're
Yeah.
not a bad water civ, and they even do get that unique uh,
Turtle ship?
turtle ship. Yeah, they do get a turtle ship.
Yeah.
They're not bad,
Yeah.
but it's not like the first civ you
But yeah,
think
it's
of when you say like
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
navals and going on water.
True, true. Yeah.
But definitely the best he had of them.
Yeah, I think that's the only water sieve that he could use. Yeah.
Also, Scratch making some nice fun with the fact so far no water inside would sign. Maybe it's gone for the day, and then he finds it. So not too thrilled about this being another water map as well.
Yeah. But there's a lot
There's
more
blockade here for
land that's
Sentinel.
available in Mediterranean, right? So there's that, where if you wanted to
Yeah,
play land, you could do more with this compared to Crater Lake,
yep.
where
And
the
and in
sides are very narrow.
and in this tournament as well, we have seen that we have seen. I think it was yeah. I've casted that set. It was Nevameter versus Raze, and we have seen one of the players go Sicilians and dungeon rush the opponent with completely ignoring the water as well, thinking
Oh
like
wow.
there's enough land here for me to just go around and start dungeon dropping, and that's what happened. And believe it or not, the dungeon dropper has won.
All
But
right,
it was
cool.
a full U pudding, to be fair.
Yeah, kind of figured that that was kind of like a U-pudding strategy with FC.
FC, everything on gold pretty much, and you just go forward and yep. I think it's a very cool strat if you can pull it
Yes,
off.
definitely.
And
Yeah.
there's also like we've seen the Bohemian strats a lot lately, and we have a good buddy here, Binny, that does it. But I honestly prefer like I like seeing the Sicilian dungeon rush more and the U pudding done more. So I really respect it when somebody can pull it off very well.
Yeah.
Nice of Resbou to notice the scout right away here. Instantly garrisons, but will not be able to hit it. Okay, Lumin already
Early
here
loom.
for
Yeah.
Resbou. Kind of surprising. Could have just force dropped these ladies and dude. This guy must be having a lot of fun. Him and there's like 7 of women here with him. Neo is finished. Great games. Paul, Dev. Okay. I think my board was super far. Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, that's identical
Yeah, oh
DC
yeah.
idle time from both players.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, this is quite a far away board here for Resbou. This one might entice somebody to have to be dropping a house. Resbou, from what I hear, Bujazi can teach you how to drop a house properly to save a will from the board.
Oh,
Okay, so
isn't
that
that
was the loom.
patched up now? Earlier, if you drop a house on a wild animal, you'll de-aggro the animal, but that's no longer the case, right? They patched
It
that
is,
as a
you can
fix.
still do it because
You can still do it? Okay.
when it comes close to you, it realizes it's standing on this like building and it tries to move away. So you wait for it to
Okay.
move away, then you hit it again, it's gonna start running at you again.
Okay, okay. I thought that was patched as a bug fix, but
No,
maybe
no,
not.
no, and I don't think it's like a bug fix. I think people do use it as a intended game mechanic in that regard.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And Scratch this time around, I like to see this. Like we are a lot faster to water this time around. Maybe realizing the mistakes he made last game, thinking like maybe I can win this one. If I'm faster on water, realizing the importance of it, that's very nice to see. Adapting on the spot as well. Don't like the dock placement. Maybe not ideal. Maybe would have been better over here somewhere so you can be closer as well. Maybe not ideal.
Yeah, it's kind of a good map for Scratch as well. Back berries,
Like,
back stone, back gold, and
yeah, pretty
Resbo. It's
much.
kind of.
But also kind of unfortunate for him. Like he didn't scout this. Like all of his sheep are in this corner as well, and
Oh
he didn't
yeah, yeah.
scout them out yet. So I guess he
True.
kind of just moved out without finding them. Like Resbo
Maybe
also
that's
missed
why
one
he
of the sheep.
went. Yeah, maybe that's why he went ahead for the fish early on because he
Yeah,
needed
could
the
be.
extra food.
So maybe
Yeah.
he just needs to miss the sheep every time on water maps.
True. Yeah.
But both players heading up, and we are having an identical situation in terms of similar uptimes, eco difference being completely dictated by the water aspect, for Resbou being first on water.
So as the Korean player, what would you do, Kajarson? Kaya.
So it depends on
Yeah.
if Scratch wants to make this a land battle or if he wants to fight for the naval this time a bit more. So either way, perhaps I would want to, like, for example, let's say like you noticed last time, like maybe water's not my strong suit. I would try to go like fast castle with people on stone, knowing that if my opponent is gonna commit on water, he's probably not gonna be to castle that fast, and he's probably not gonna be building land units. So just this palisade wall is like perfectly fine for me. I can come here and like drop a castle, destroy the palisades, and once those wagons start jumping out,
Yeah.
it's gonna be pretty hard to react to them.
Yeah, and you get stone bonus with Koreans, so you might find it easier to accumulate stone to drop
Yeah,
that castle. So
exactly.
yeah.
And for all of those interested, Polly is randomly promoting Helldivers 2 in the stream chat. So, and I love how there was no entry into that. He did say dev like 5 minutes ago, and he just said Helldivers 2 now.
What is Helldivers 2?
It's a, have you ever played Earth Defense League?
No.
Air Defense League was a game where you have a lot of guns and you fight off giant ants that are invading the Earth. Now, Helldivers 2 to me is basically a new, better, good graphic version of that game where you have uh, like big bugs, alien bugs that you're fighting with guns. And it's pretty
Okay.
new, and I've seen Smart Guy play it just today. Seems pretty cool. It's Starship Troopers,
Okay.
as he likes to say. Yeah, it's Starship Troopers.
Okay. Okay.
So okay, so Resbou will in the end find these fishing ships and start doing some damage. Again, it's Scratch going with the galleys. Now, T90 talked about this,
Uh,
and Does he know about the second part of the dock?
That's exactly what I was thinking as well. Where uh, yeah, he did say that he knows about it. Maybe he just didn't think that the counters were what the counters were for water.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he was making galleys.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Because yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, uh, the galleys, as I said, like they are countered by the fire ships, but they can do well if
Also,
you have the time to micro them, and if you
yeah,
have
and
them in a big
also
bigger numbers.
Armenians get a bonus with galleys as well, right? They have extra range, or
Uh,
are they fire faster, something like that.
additional projectile. They fire
Additional.
additional
Oh yeah,
projectiles. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so that's
Exactly.
very useful.
Yeah.
Oh right. Now we see, Scratch kind of maybe feeling in a loop here, like similar to what happened to him last game. He is still trying to go for the galleys. Again, this is a situation where I think he would need a demolition ship or two here, and then like two fire galleys from here, and he cleans this up.
Yep.
Unfortunately for him, that we are not seeing that happen just as of yet. Does have a galley still hidden here. He did go for some demolition ships last time around, so I'm still hoping we can see them this time around as well. Could work out very well for him once more.
Yeah, the resources are piling up for Scratch, so he can go to Castle Edge if he
Yep,
wanted to.
very true.
And he did. I didn't. He didn't. Oh, it's actually Resbo who finds the sheep, and he
Yep,
leaves them there
yep.
because probably the best place to make sure that Scratch doesn't find them.
Yeah, it appears so. It appears so.
Yeah.
Okay, so Polly might be streaming some Helldivers in about 2 hours, so anybody who is thinking of checking out the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Resboo's showing very strong presence once more on the water, so again it's getting very fast to a point where Scratch will have to think of either getting on water really soon or disregarding it in total, which is a very dangerous thing to do. Yeah. Also, okay, so now we're having the market dropped and the blacksmith dropped, so Scratch is basically there with the resources to be able to click up, and that's what he wants to do. Now, what I would also suggest for Scratch in this situation, or like what is better for Scratch in this situation compared to the last game, Mediterranean has a lot more land, as we said, than what Crater Lake has. So Crater Lake was a bigger danger in terms of losing the water, while it's very important here as well. It can be a lot better in terms of, well, I'll just fight you on land if I can. And we are
Okay,
adding more dogs
so
for Resbou as well.
so Scratch has clicked up, has
Yep,
a timing advantage to Castle Edge.
exactly. Resbou's still missing a building actually to be able to pick up. Just finished his blacksmith, so whenever he
Yeah, and
does
there's
drop the
three
second building,
fire
he can
ships
pick
as
up.
well. So it's not the wood is missing. It's just they've been spent on fire ships right now.
Yeah, but he has forced down a market with like 5 villagers from this stone here, so he wants to
Yeah,
click up as well. Has the resources whenever he realizes now that he's in the position to, he
un
will drop most likely.
yeah, he just needs to unqueue the fire ships and make a
Yep.
blacksmith.
Yeah, at this point I
Mhm.
think you can unqueue because also he's scouting around and he can see that there's no additional docks, so might be a bit of an
Yeah.
overkill in an overinvestment at this point. But he does click up now, so he will be around a minute and a half behind. But he will be the first to have enough for a castle as well. I wish I could, Resboo. I wanna watch a Kajarson after this. Um, so Polly, I do have another set to cast after this, and by the time I'm done with that, I might be too tired to play a ladder game, but I might be playing it tomorrow. So yeah, after this, Polly, we're actually gonna see one of the top dogs of the tournament. Actually, by everything I've seen so far, maybe perhaps one of the strongest players in the tournament against one of another very strong player in the Platinum League is gonna be Videira against Superhero 555. And Scratch is in Castle, and he is dropping a Siege Workshop. Okay. Broccoli also, of course, Broccoli, Papa Smurf right there. Also a very strong player. I'm just saying, like, one of the strongest players in the tournament in terms of both elo and what I've seen from him so far is definitely also Videira, because I've seen him play like some 1v1s, but I've seen him play a lot of team games as well on different streams. For example, he was common to see playing team games on the stream of Stellar Mish as well, and he was always a pretty strong player there as well. There we have with the second TC for Scratch as well being dropped right now, and these villagers will afterwards, I think, go back to the stone. Actually, no, they're going over to gold, so Scratch will be delayed a lot on his castle. Meanwhile, Resbou does have enough to double drop a castle of his own, and Resbou in complete control of water with 12 fire ships and gonna be 4 galleys on the field pretty soon. No castle age upgrade on them yet, but he can do that at any point as well.
So if you see the walls right now, who does that remind you of?
If I see the walls.
For Resbou?
So the Emma.
Yeah. Emma? I was thinking Bujazi. I feel like Bujazi learned the stone walling behind from Resbou.
I mean, it would be fair to assume. Like,
Yeah,
I always assumed he learned most of the things from Resbou. But honestly, my first association to stone walls is definitely Emma Stone Walls, who stresses out how much he loves them.
I
and how
learned
much he
from
wants to see them.
Bujazi. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's the other way around. Okay, perfect. You love to see it. Now we're getting some archery ranges out on the field from Scratch as well, and he's going archers, so definitely doing as I expected, or as I was saying, like, there's enough land here for you to think, I'm just going land. Also, it seems the sheep were moved, but only to here. Or actually on Mediterranean you do find some extra sheep around as well, so Resbou picked them up, but just left them standing on the side. Kind of forgot about them as well. And Scratch thinking, I'll do what worked for me last time around, so archers and siege push, and going into crossbowmen as well. That's definitely a good choice, and it's not a bad decision at all. And we are seeing Resbou drop the castle defensively back at home, but maybe the positioning, I think the positioning could have been different, because either way, with all the stone walls now, I would prefer to have this castle on either side, but closer to the walls, so you can stop any possible incursions easier. Because this way you see how it like doesn't really range a lot of things. Okay, this war galley will be hitting the siege workshop, so this will be the this will be long and annoying for Scratch, I guess, just to watch it being hit.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have
So,
a TC here from Scratch.
That is
not what we expected.
Yep, not what we expected.
Honestly,
expected something like a forward siege workshop.
I mean, this is like not efficient, but I always respect like when I see army like this. So like when you select them all together, so they walk in a proper formation, and then how they should look on the battlefield. It's always funny.
True.
Hey Videira, nice to see you around. Basically just in time. Like after this game, we are going into your set. Polly, who's casting your games? I don't know if you're aware of this, Polly, but you are listed even as one of the casters. You have insight to the caster sheet that has all the information on it. And I'm not sure if the games are taken up yet, but I'll take a look at it. Because some of your games have not been yet played out, and we're kind of waiting for that to be completed. And look at this, it's Resbou dropping an offensive castle here. And she's gonna be taking the villas over by foot. So wrong time for like Scratch to be over on this side with his army. But if he gets this mangonel out, he can possibly deny the castle by hitting these villagers.
And mangonel is out,
there's
so
a lot
maybe
of
the
villagers.
castle.
16 villagers for Resbou on this side. Ooh, that's a nice hit already on the villagers. Let's see if we find more. Okay, so smart from Resbou actually to go straight for the mangonel first. Going straight for the mangonel first, already dropping the castle here. Okay, select the weak villagers, so the mangonel might actually survive. The mangonel will survive. Mangonel. Repair it. Oh no, it's not getting repaired, so this will go up because not in time will be the next mangonel. We are getting a defensive castle out from Scratch to respond to this as soon as possible, and at the same time, it's Scratch attacking on this side as well. So very interesting to see both players making offensive moves at around the same time. We're killing our own archers here, Scratch. That's kind of unfortunate. Castle does go up for Resbou. Mangonel does go down for Scratch. Castle will go up as well for Scratch here as well. Now this is interesting that Resbou only has one on... Are we still hitting our archers? Okay, we're not right now. Only one on gold, so like he's not able to go to imp. Okay, he's on his way to imp. Sorry, he has just clicked up imp. I was surprised why he's so low on gold. So this is also again problematic for Scratch. Scratch, who is actually in the eco lead, thanks to the, well, I guess more DC that he had for a longer time, is what I would assume. But he's far away from being able to pick up to imp still. And once Resbou is in imp, he can have trebuchets coming out from here, and that's gonna be a big plus for him. Now Resbou already thinking of protecting himself by re-rolling behind this all, and did create a partial wall off, and now researchers fletching as well, so look how the range has increased, and now
I do
this is
think
unpassable
the
terrain as well.
partial wall offs probably should have been from the other side, so that you're kind of baiting the opponent to come into the castle fire instead of coming to the edge of the map where they could avoid castle fire.
So this is kind of a bit of an unfortunate tower by Scratch, because I get the idea, like denying the resources and everything, but your problem here is that you're still being ranged by the castle in this case, and the tower won't be long for the world. Let's see what Resbou kind of seems unsure of what to do with the villagers that he brought over here. Oh, we'll take the sheep now. Not something I expected.
Okay, that's not considered as hunt, is it? Where you can drop off in the mule cart?
Actually, no, it's not, because you can do hunt but not herdables. Scratch moving forward with the siege by accident, I guess. And yeah, you can see them, they're like full, and they're just gonna be walking back home now. And we are seeing one of the unique techs for the Koreans come in, and you can see how the range has increased on these guard towers, and their damage will as well, while these villagers try to make their way back home. On this side, the fire ships have found the DC, but they're not able to damage it really. And where are the villagers for Scratch going as well? Scratch is still in the eco lead, guys. I just want to point that out as well. Even though he lost the water access and has nothing on water, Resbou perhaps could have considered doing more on water as well. Because you have complete control and all of this fish, and even when it runs out, you can fish boom with no issues. I thought that was big brain. Yeah, for a moment there. But yeah, it's just the sheep instead. But hey, you'll get the food. That's what everybody's carrying 13 food with them. Maybe not the most efficient move we've seen like ever, but it's something. And there we go, the trebuchets are out on the field. We even have some composite bowmen out for Resbou as well. And we're gonna try to defend with stone gates to like wall these in, but there's nothing really that's running out towards them. Yep.
Yeah.
I like the
idea. But
idea.
It's cool to see it. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Scratch also trying to be annoying on the other side with the mangonels, hitting the university here.
But now you're close to the shoreline, right?
Yeah, he's kind of too close to the shoreline, but luckily for him, Resbou not really reacting to it. Ooh, here come the boys back. It seems that Neo's set has completed. Guys, I'm telling it right away, do spoil me what happened. Who won? And there goes the castle.
Neo is definitely hyped, so probably Neo won.
I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, no idea. Okay. Well, don't spoil.
Okay, so it's...
Well, alright.
Spoil or don't spoil. Let people enjoy the VODs. Yeah, fair enough. If somebody wants to enjoy the VODs, they can. I'll spoil myself with the score a bit later on. 3 games, they random. Yep, okay. Oh, Kaya, you Norwegian bastard. Okay, here's Kev as well. Nice to see you all hopping in as well. We are at close to the end of the set of Resbou and Scratch, and we'll be going into Videira against Superhero very, very soon here. Oh, this is not a bad engagement here for Scratch still. He's finding some decent damage. Could have maybe pulled the Mangonels a bit more back because he can outrange these fire ships here. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
the
just
villagers will be
the
here in time,
pebbles are not.
unfortunately for him.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Resbou, on the other side, did get the castle down, but he's kind of at the halt right now. There we go. Dambo, thank you for the follow, my man. Much appreciated. And as that happens, Scratch kind of still unhappy about the water maps, calls the GG, and it's gonna be a win for Resbou. But it was a very good set by both, and we've seen two very similar games that Resbou has won. It was like basically water maps that seem to be his stronger suit, and Scratch winning out on the land one. So we have the final score at 2-1 to Resbou.